100th episode review?
Let's do it, man.
Here we go.
Here we go.
All right, so we're here with our 100th episode, and I figured, well, you know, for anybody who's watched us for a while, let's just really get into like how this all came about. So I guess we could say how it all started. So yeah, the roll's on. It's up to you.
Yep. So basically, how it all started was I have a music producer that I work with called Calvin Avon, and I was helping him set up this project with a local star called Race One, where we're recording, and brought in Arne to shoot all the behind-the-scenes footage for the entire project. So anyway, we're sitting in the studio. Calvin's making the music, Race is singing the songs, Arne's shooting the behind-the-scenes footage, and I don't got nothing much to do. So I said, hey,
well,
guys,
you were kind of the producer of the behind-the-snes docu that we're doing.
Useless in the actual studio. So I'm like, okay,
totally.
Guys, who needs some snacks? Who needs some drinks? I'm going to 7-Eleven. And everyone's like, yeah, off you go. So I went off, go to 7-Eleven. I'm in 7-Eleven, and on the bottom shelf, I see peeking at me this weird-looking Kit Kat package. I don't know what is this? So I bend down, pick it up, and it says ginger ale Kit Kat.
That's insane.
I'm like, I gotta buy this. I gotta get it back to Arne in the studio ASAP because he's gonna go nuts when he sees this. So I rush back to the studio, pull out this Kit Kat, and say, Arne, you're not gonna believe this. And then what happened when I showed you?
I was like, holy crap, they took ginger ale and Kit Kats and fused them together to create this mental product of ginger ale Kit Kat. And I was like, this is so cool. We got to tell everybody about this. And you were like, okay, how do we do that? And I was like, well, we'll go home and we'll record it. We'll make a show out of it.
But the way you said it, I remember so clearly. I took it out and you were like, I was like, what? You know, I was like, oh, that's it. And you were like, no, I know what we're going to do. We're going to go home and we're going to video ourselves eating it and put it on Facebook or YouTube. Yeah. And I was like, okay, that sounds cool.
It was also a time that YouTube's a lot, I kind of like want to say with that, YouTube's a lot more advanced now. Back then, like, I didn't know many people were uploading stuff to YouTube.
No.
To be honest, I know a few more now, but now there's like, you know.
And there was no high quality content on YouTube.
No,
in terms of film.
And our stuff wasn't very high quality when we first doing it either. Like, I mean, if you look back at it, right, I mean, it basically was us, the Green Tea Kit Kat, and then I was like, well, how are we going to do this? And I had some really clear ideas.
Yeah,
I wanted to use jump cuts, like quick jump cuts, because I'd seen some like YouTube reviewers in Japan who were doing that. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's really cool, because I love following Japanese media and culture and whatnot. And this basically had a bit of a Japanese vibe too, and we're in Hong Kong, so. And then after that, I was like, okay, we did that, and I added like the titles at the end. We're like, we reviewed the Green Tea Kit, we want to make it funny. Yeah. And I think the last part was we needed music. Yeah. And I made some music for it.
And that actually became a really big part of our show. So all the time fans write in and they ask like, oh, where does this music come from? What about the intro? What's this? And actually Arne creates all the music for the show himself. And you know, every 5 or 10 episodes you suddenly decide to mix it up, do something different.
Yeah, add a new track. Like the last 2 episodes I think had a new track on it again.
Yeah, I noticed that,
And it's all like kind of Aphex Twinny, Autechra influence stuff, which I think works well for a show like this, because in the melodies are always kind of they're always kind of energetic and bright and nice. Make the music according to the episodes, more or less the way they feel. Basically, we've been shooting the show for a while, and we had a lot of friends in media, and they started watching the show, and friends like Mike were like, I was like, yo, we're in an episode? You're like, oh, okay. And he just done this anti-smoking commercial. Yeah. He was like, things like that, you know. And he was like, I did this anti-smoking commercial. And my first instinct was, well, let's get him in an anti-smoking candy thing on Crazy in Kong. So
I think actually we fooled him. You told him come around and play Gears of War.
Yeah, come over and play Gears of War. And
Mike, why don't you come join us?
Mike, why don't you come join this thing, Mike?
Come over and sit down here, Mike. How you doing, brother?
Yeah.
How you doing, guys?
Welcome to the 100th episode.
100th episode. Yeah.
So you just represented the government to stop the people of Hong Kong from smoking.
I know.
And Arne invited you around to play video games.
Gears of War. We love Gears. Yes.
And as soon as you lit up a cigarette, we immediately started filming our own.
Our own commercial. Yeah. Well, okay.
Just like tonight. You know?
Can I ask you? Okay, what are your memories of the no smoking candy?
It was shit. It was shit. It was nasty.
I remember. I know. I remember.
It was terrible. You were like, "Give me my cigarettes back."
I believe you stated you'd rather smoke than take the no smoking candy. Yeah. So basically, Mike came on the show, and then after that,
So you had this particular product, you called me up, you were really excited about it, you're like, I've got something awesome, we've got to do a review of this, I think it's going to go big. And I was like, okay, cool, I had no idea what to expect. I came around. And what did you have when I got there?
When I came back, I had Final Fantasy Elixir. So it was really cool.
Final Fantasy Elixir.
I know. Well, I gotta say how I heard about this, because there's a very cool YouTuber in Japan called Luke Morris 1.
Yes.
And he reviewed it on there. I was like, oh my god, this stuff exists. And I'll freely admit that. Like, you know, the guy did a great review. I was like, this is cool. We should review it in our show, but you know, in our own way. Like, not a better review, just a different review.
Yeah.
And it kind of was our show was about. And I told you about it, and then we talked about that in video games. And later on, I
put in 900.
900, yeah.
Video, put a little clip of that into it.
That was really cool.
It was our first pop culture product as well.
Yeah, and it was also the first video to get 3,000 views. And
we were so excited.
Yeah, 3,000 views. We did it.
We're famous.
King of the world, you know, not a capital nonsense. And then it was like, you know, and it was just, we were like, so nowadays, 3,000 views, we're like, okay, yeah, that's right. But back then, that was like a big thing, you know what I'm saying? 3,000 views. It was a major milestone for us, like breaking that 3,000 mark. Alright, so eventually what happened was, after that all happened, we were like, cool, we gotta find more cool products. And we done no Malaysian products at that point.
Yeah.
So we tried to nail all the countries, which is more, nowadays we focus a bit more on Japan and Hong Kong. But back then we tried to do stuff from all different countries, which turned out to be a lot more difficult. We thought it was kind of a theme that fell out of the show. But you know, made the show more focused. But then we're like, let's try something from Malaysia. So we tried
Roller Coaster Ninja Hot Plate Potato Ring.
Yeah, that's what it was. And at the time, we just met at a 48-hour film festival. We met Joe Farello.
Joe Farello, right? Who later has become quite a famous addition to our show. But at that time, we didn't know him that well.
We didn't know him that well. We kind of knew him, and he was, and I guess he wasn't too busy because he was watching our show.
So he's watching our show, and he sees this Ninja Plate review, and he thinks, oh, this is cool. I'll do my own Ninja Plate review.
And make it a response.
Now, I gotta say, if you have not watched this video from Joe, it is genius. It's pure genius.
It's very weird.
It's the strangest thing you'll ever see in your life. It's amazing. I mean, for example, Joe didn't have a ninja costume, so he invented one by putting his t-shirt over his nose like this and pretending to be a ninja.
It's like being a 5-year-old kid. He's like, oh, welcome to my Ninja Hot Plate Potato thing. He was like this. It was the most ridiculous thing I'd ever seen,
and he uses the most elementary special effects to show it cracking the thing
off. The worst, it was terrible. But somehow, I don't get impressed very much by other people's stuff, but that somehow impressed me. I was like, you know what, bring him onto the show.
We gotta get this.
Because Mike can come on as a guest. Like, well, let's bring Joe on as a guest as well.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it went. And we later on we bring him on as a guest. Yeah.
Before Joe came on the show officially, we had a few other interesting things on the way. I mean, one of the really unusual videos we did was the strawberry rice cake Haiju candy.
A video that wasn't supposed to be that original, but every now and again things go wrong. Yep. And what happened on that one is the sound was like messed up.
What he means is he forgot to turn on the sound recording. We didn't record any sound. There was an entire video of us going.
Yeah, basically, I bogged it up. I bogged it up. I bought it pretty good. Because anybody has audio recording equipment at home, like, you know, the output and the inputs, like, you're constantly switching those over, and we're using the internal mic on the computer, and I bogged it up, and it's still connected to my synths and stuff like that. So,
but it led to a stroke of genius because you came up with a very clever idea of what we could do instead of having the audio. Right. So basically, we went out and we had a friend, a Japanese actor called Kurt Kishida, and Arna's going to tell you a bit more about him in a minute. And then I had another friend called Hide. And we said, hey guys, you want to come down and basically dub our video? Like those old Kung Fu movies. Basically, we're speaking, they kind of speak along in time with us, but in Japanese, and say pretty much whatever they want. And we just made them, we didn't remember what we said originally, so we just get in the candy and said review it however you want.
They had a whale of a time. Apparently what they're saying is quite dirty, but I love that though. I love the fact that, because I like people that have got the guts and the balls to do something, and these guys, they had it, man. I don't know what they're saying, but everybody, I met a Japanese go, so dirty what they're saying. I'm like, oh, okay. That was pretty cool because it was like the first time I'd ever kind of worked with Kurt, and I would go on to work with him in much larger capacities and quite successful ones in a word.
Absolutely.
In somewhat of a way. So, and I want to work with him more.
Yeah.
Call me, Kurt. Call me.